Have you ever made so much sacrifice for a man only to get disappointed at the end? What was your experience like? Join me on this story as we explore the life of a beautiful young girl who sacrificed almost everything for a man at the detriment of her own life, her future, and her family. What was her result at the end? Let's find out. In the vibrant city of Lagos lived a young girl named Ini. Ini was known for her radiant smile, which could light up even the darkest corner of the bustling city. She was the only daughter of Papa Toby, a hardworking man who toiled day and night to provide for his family. Along with her two brothers, Ini grew up in a modest but loving home, filled with laughter and dreams of a better future. Papa Toby was a respected figure in their community. He spent his days selling goods in the busy markets, where the scents of spices and the sounds of bargaining always filled the air. His dedication to his family was unwavering. He worked tirelessly, saving every kobo he could, even going as far as selling a piece of land he owned to invest in his children's education. His dreams were simple. He wanted his children to have opportunity he never had, to attend school and to grow into successful adults. As the years passed, Ini blossomed into a beautiful young woman with her big bright eyes and a heart full of hope. She captured the attention of many suitors in the neighborhood. However, her heart belonged to one man, Tunde, a charming young man with ambitious dreams, one which included traveling abroad for greener pastures. Tunde was everything Ini had ever wanted in a partner. He was handsome, confident, and had a way with words that made her feel special. Their love blossomed amid the bustle and hustle of Lagos, and soon they became inseparable. Tunde often spoke of his dreams of leaving Nigeria to find success in another country, where he could return and take Ini away to a life of comfort and luxury, which often sweep her off her feet. But he had no money to make his long-time dream come true. In fact, Tunde was very lazy and fed off women for a living. Once he noticed he had the momo button of a woman, he would manipulate her with sweet words and make her do things that ordinarily she wouldn't do. This has been working for him for a very long time. One afternoon, as they sat beneath a tree in a local park, Tunde turned to Ini with a serious expression. "You know, I told you I have been making plans and preparations to travel abroad. I want to go and work and then return and take you with me so we can get married and live happily. You know how much I love you, right?" he asked. These were the kinds of words that do sweep Ini off her feet. Tunde was not only handsome physically, he was also handsome with words. "I need your help, Ini," he continued, his voice low. "If I can get some money to add to the one I already saved, I will be able to buy my ticket to travel abroad and start a new life. Once I'm successful, I promise to come back for you and marry you," he added reassuringly. Ini felt a rush of emotions. She wanted to believe in Tunde's dreams, to trust him completely. "How much do you need?" she asked without hesitation, her heart raising. Tunde's eyes lit up with hope as he explained the amount he needed. Ini wished to help make her boyfriend's dreams of traveling abroad come true. After all, he promised to come back and take her with him. She knew the money she had saved while working would not be enough, and she started thinking of ways in which she could help. Her heart raised with excitement and fear as she thought of her father's savings. Ini knew her father had saved every kobo for her and her brother's education and welfare, but the thought of Tunde's dreams filled her with a desire to help him. "I can do it," she whispered to herself, feeling a mix of anxiety and determination as the ultimate thought filled her heart. She will take part of the savings and give it to Tunde to travel, and within a short period, he will come back for her and they will return her father's money before he may even find out, she thought. She made Tunde promise to come back for her as soon as he made it, and for sure he did. If there was anything Tunde was perfect in, it was in making promises. "Baby, I promise to come back for you. In fact, I will send you back the money as soon as I start working. I promise," promise, he said, making yet another promise again. That night, as she lay in bed, Ini wrestled with her conscience. She knew stealing from her father was wrong, but her feelings for Tunde were strong. He had promised her a future, a life filled with love and happiness. The thought of their life together made her heart flutter, drowning out the voice of reason. The next day, she made the ultimate decision. While her father was away at the market, Ini took a deep breath and went to her father's savings. Her hands trembled as she reached for the money. The moment she held the cash in her hands, a wave of guilt washed over her, but she pushed it aside. She hurriedly packed the money into an envelope and ran to meet Tunde, her heart racing with anticipation. When she handed the money to Tunde, his face broke into a wide smile. "You have done it, Ini. I knew I could count on you," he exclaimed, wrapping her in a tight embrace. For a moment, all her doubts vanished, replaced by the warmth of love and hope. "You have shown me how much you love me, Ini. I promise I will make it up to you. You will live like the queen that you are very soon. Trust me, my love," Tunde said, while holding Ini in a tight and warm embrace. However, that happiness was short-lived. A few days later, Papa Toby returned home and noticed that a significant amount of money was missing from his savings. Panic gripped him as he searched every corner of the house, hoping he had just been misplaced. When he finally confronted Ini, his heart sank. "Ini, where is the money I saved for your education?" he demanded, his voice filled with anger. Initially, Ini tried to feign ignorance, but as she saw the fear in her father's eyes, she decided to tell him the whole truth and promised to return the money as soon as possible. With tears-filled eyes, she realized the gravity of her actions. "Papa, I gave it to Tunde. He needed it to travel," she stammered. Her father's face turned pale. "You did what? How could you betray me like this? I worked so hard to save that money for your future." His voice trembled with rage and heartbreak. "Papa, I thought," she began, but he cut her off. "You thought? You have thrown away everything I worked for. You have watched me suffer for years, training you and your brothers all alone ever since your mother passed. Other men would have remarried a long time ago, but I didn't want you people to suffer. I wanted the best for you all. I toiled day and night, under the rain, under the sun, just to make sure you all are comfortable. Tell me, Ini, where did I go wrong?" his father asked in a teary and broken voice. "I've always warned you about that boy, Tunde, but you wouldn't listen. Now look at it. What good and responsible man asks a woman for money when he knows very well that the woman has no job of her own?" The reality of Ini's action came down on her as she heard and saw her father cry for the first time. She silently prayed that Tunde will not disappoint her. She tried to apologize to her father with a promise to return the money soon, but his anger was more than just the money that was taken. He felt disappointed that a child that he had taken so much pain to raise could act so foolishly, not considering him and her brothers, all their years of struggles. "You are no longer my daughter," he shouted, his voice echoing in the small house. Ini felt as if the ground had opened up beneath her. She had lost the trust of the one person who had sacrificed everything for her. She tried to plead with her father, but he turned his back on her. For several days, Ini stayed and slept outside in the cold with hope that her father may forgive her and take her back in, but he refused to even speak to her. With nowhere else to go, she found herself wandering the busy streets of Lagos, her heart heavy with regret and sorrow. The vibrant city that once felt alive now felt suffocating and cold. She had made a terrible mistake, and the weight of her actions pressed down on her like a heavy stone, but she kept her hope alive when she thought of Tunde. "God, please open doors and make ways for Tunde soon enough, so he can return as promised, for us to be able to replace my father's money and also give him more." She will often pray silently, even in her harsh reality. Days turned into weeks as she struggled to survive. With no home, she scavenged for food and slept in uncompleted buildings. Each night, as she coiled up under the cold, the thought of her father and the love she had betrayed would come flashing before before her. Despite her dire situation, Ini clung onto the hope that Tunde would come back for her, that he would return to fulfill the promises he had made to her. As days turned into weeks, Ini knew she couldn't continue to wallow in regrets. She needed to survive while waiting for Tunde's return. She started to go out every day to look for what she could do in order to earn some money. She would go from house to house looking for menial jobs like cleaning and doing laundry. Some days she would enter the market and help shoppers to carry their goods for a fee. After a while, she was able to save some significant amount of money, and then she thought of what she could invest the money into. The idea of cooking came up. Food selling, though stressful, was a lucrative business and also safer for her. She made plans on how to go about it. After doing her calculations, at the end, she rented a small space by the roadside, and boom, her business began. She cooked small portions of local dishes, relying on the skills her father had taught her in the kitchen. Though her setup was small, the aroma of her food and the friendly and respectful way in which she attended to people began to attract more and more customers daily. As the months went by, Ini's roadside food shop gained popularity. She poured her heart and soul into her cooking, and soon her food became known for its delicious taste. For 3 years, she worked hard, her resilience shining through despite the challenges she faced. She occasionally do receive letters and calls from Tunde, who kept her hopes alive, saying he will return soon. "I miss you, Ini," he would say. "I promise I will come back for you. Just wait a little longer, my love," he will always say reassuringly whenever he called. Each message and call made her heart swell with anticipation. She rejected advances from other young men who admired her, holding on to the belief that Tunde would return for her. "I already have a man," she would say, her heart still tied to the dreams they had shared. Among her numerous customers, one stood out, a young and successful, good-looking young man from a wealthy home. He made sure to visit Ini's shop every day. He severally tried to woo her, but she rejected his advances with the same old line: "I have told you to stop wasting your time. Nothing will work between us because I already have a man." That line became more like an anthem because she never hesitated to say it to any young man she felt was coming to her for friendship. Larry would laugh so hard whenever she used the line. He now referred to it as Ini's anthem, but he kept coming despite her rejection. No day passes by without him showing up at her shop. "I will never stop coming here until you grant me my wish and become my woman," Larry will say jokingly. "Then you will wait till you grow gray hair," Ini would tease back at him. Her business continued to grow, and her life started taking a proper turn once again as she was able to rent a room for herself. And then, just like in a movie, it happened. Ini was in her shop one fateful afternoon when her friend Dara came running. "Ini, I thought you were my friend. How come your boyfriend Tunde returned from abroad and you didn't bother to tell me?" "Oh, now I know your plans. You wanted to eat all the abroad goodies alone, right?" Dara said, while taking a seat beside Ini. Ini was shocked, but then she busted out with laughter. "Madam, I hope you don't have any malaria," she said, while touching Dara's forehead in a playful manner for confirmation. "Your body temperature is okay now," she added, still laughing. "How can Tunde return back from abroad and I won't know nor hear about it? In fact, we spoke 2 days ago and he never mentioned nor said anything about returning. If at all anyone should know about Tunde's return, that person should be me," Ini added with determination in her eyes. "Madam, as you can see, I'm very, very okay, and I know Tunde very well. I know who I saw, and it's none other than Tunde. I mean, your own very Tunde. If you like, take it serious, and if you like, stay there and be doubting," Dara concluded and proceeded to dish food for herself. With this, Ini became confused. She knew Dara could be anything, but definitely not someone who'd joke with something so serious. She quickly picked up her phone, dialed Tunde's foreign number, but it was not reachable. She tried severally, but it still did not connect. This gave her a cold feet. "I just hope is not what I'm thinking. Let it not be that Tunde actually came back to Nigeria without my notice," she lamented while still trying to call him on the phone. "Why not try his Nigerian number and see?" Dara suggested. Ini quickly searched for Tunde's Nigerian number and dialed it, but yet the call still did not go through. Dara suggested she use her phone to try the number. Maybe he must have blocked her own number from calling him. "You know I never liked nor trusted that guy Tunde for once," Dara threw in. "It will be surprising that he had blocked your number. Why not take my own phone and call him, since he doesn't have nor know my number? I believe it will go through." To Ine's surprise and Dara's confirmation, the call went through almost immediately. Tunde wasted no time in picking up. "So it's true," Ine's voice came sadly the moment the call connected. "So it's true that you are in Nigeria." The voice on the other end was silent. "Tunde, you came back and never bothered to let me know?" Ine asked, tears beginning to form in her eyes and voice. "I wanted to surprise you, but I'm sorry if you found out this way." "It's not what you think, Ine," Tunde said, trying to defend his action. Ine tried to say more, but the pain in her voice wouldn't let her. "When do we see?" she couldn't help but ask. "I will find out time to come and see you," Tunde said, and dropped the call with what seemed like a hurry. Ine sank into a chair and cried. She didn't want to believe what was happening. She had always hoped that things would turn out well, so she would be able to go back and reunite with her father. But the way things were going, she doubted if it would happen anytime soon. Dara tried to comfort her and assured her she knew where to find Tunde and would definitely take her there to meet him and confront him face to face. Throughout that day, Ine was not able to do anything. She wasn't herself, thanks to Dara, who helped her to attend to her customers. As usual, Larry came, and when he saw Ine in a sad mood, which was different from her usual cheerful self, he tried to find out what the problem was, but Ine wouldn't answer him. Rather, she cried even more. It was Dara who ended up explaining the reason behind her sad mood. "I've always told her to forget about that boy and move on, but she never listened. She felt she had sacrificed so much to let him go just like that. Now, despite everything she did for him, he came back to Nigeria without even informing her. And not just that too, he blocked her everywhere from reaching him. If not that I ran into him in a supermarket, she wouldn't have even known he was in the country," Dara narrated, seizing the opportunity to pour out her hate for Tunde. "The worst is that I did not just see him. I saw him with another woman, walking hand in hand. Just that I omitted that part when telling her because I know exactly how she will react, and I'm afraid of the result." Larry listened carefully and felt pity for Ine. He had grown to like her a lot. The reason why, despite his busy schedule as a CEO of a very big and reputable construction company, he always finds time every day to come to her small restaurant just to get a glimpse of her lovely face, and had always wished he would give him a chance. And now, seeing her this way makes his heart ache with pain, and he wished there was something he could do to help. Days passed, and Ine kept trying to fix a meeting with Tunde, but as usual, he kept posting her again and again until one fateful afternoon, together with Dara, they ran into him yet again at a shopping mall. Ine couldn't believe her eyes or what she was seeing. She cleaned her eyes again and again to be sure they were seeing clearly. "Is that not Tunde walking hand in hand with another woman?" Ine finally found her voice and asked no one in particular. She ran towards their direction, and every effort Dara made to stop her proved abortive. "So it's true, Tunde," Ine began, with tears streaming down her face. "So you not only came back to Nigeria and have been avoiding me, but here you are, also with another woman," Ine continued, trying to control her emotions. "After everything I did for you, after everything I had to suffer because of you, this is how you choose to repay me?" To her greatest surprise, Tunde denied knowing who she was. "Young lady, what are you talking about? Are you mistaking me for someone or what? Moreover, my name is not Tunde but Ayo, and you are just mistaking me for someone else. Please, you have to be very careful next time, because my fiancé is right here, and she may think something else," Tunde said, and hurriedly walked away, to the amazement of of Dara and it traumatized Ini. Ini couldn't believe what just happened, and all she did was cry like a baby in public. The humiliation alone wasn't the height of it for her, but the fact that she wouldn't be able to reconcile with her father without returning his money, and she hoped and prayed every night and day for Tunde to become successful, and this was what she gets in return. Dara tried to comfort her by reminding her they were in public. Look, Ini, you have to pull yourself together, please. We are in public. I'm not saying you should not cry, yo. All I'm saying is that you should save the cry for when we get home in order to avoid further embarrassment, Dara said, trying to cheer up Ini. She always had a way of making a situation lighter. Though within her, she was equally boiling with anger and wished there was something she could do to that so-called Tunde. She never liked him from the beginning. That encounter alone shattered Ini's world. She could lock herself up and cry all day at home. Her business started suffering as she no longer paid much attention to it. Day in, day out, she would wail and regret all she did for Tunde and how he decided to repay her. She wished she could turn back the hands of time. She would have been wiser and did things differently. Dara did all she could to talk some sense into her, advising her to move on and try making peace with her father. But the shame of going home empty-handed couldn't allow her, and all she did was cry and wail. Detective Dara also was able to find where Tunde now resides and show Ini, who once again went to confront him. On getting into the compound, she saw Tunde and his new girlfriend in the car about to drive out. She stood at the front of the car asking Tunde to come down for them to talk things once and for all. Tunde threatened to run her over, and she said it would be better he run over her and she die rather than living such a miserable life. Tunde had no choice but to come down along with his new girlfriend, who was equally tired of the woman who constantly harassed them. Baby, you have to settle this once and for all. You can't tell me you don't know this lady. She speaks with so much conviction, too much for just any random woman, his new girlfriend said, with anger and displeasure written all over her face. So you told her you don't know me, right? You don't know me after everything I did for you, Ini said, tears streaming down her face. Turning to the woman, she continued, you see this man right here? We dated for 2 good years, 2 whole years of sacrificing everything. I even went as far as stealing from my father in order to sponsor his trip abroad with the hope that when he comes back, he will marry me. For 3 good years while abroad, he kept my hope alive by reassuring me every day about his promises of returning for me. My father found out about what I did and disowned me. For months, I suffered under the sun, under the cold night, because I had nowhere else to go. But his promises kept me strong and going, only for him to return. And now he is claiming he doesn't know me. Ini narrated, hoping for some kind of consolation and pity. But to her greatest surprise, Tunde's new girlfriend dropped what seemed like a bomb in her ear. Do you know you are very stupid and unwise? She said without any emotion in her voice. So you stole your own father's money. Instead of using it for something important to better your life, you decided to give it to a man. In fact, sisterhood is very much ashamed of you, she continued. Look at you. I don't even think you have any form of education. Yet, you left yourself whom you are supposed to help and stole your father's money to give to a man. Now look at you. Where has it landed you? At the end, she tried to pay Ini off, but Ini refused to take anything from them. So you want to pay me off? Can your money buy back the years wasted? Can your money erase the pains caused? Can your money give me back my father's forgiveness and love? Oh, you call me foolish. I acted out of love. You, a fellow woman like me, called me foolish just because I acted out of love. Anyways, it's not your fault. Neither is it my fault, but the fault of the one who took my sacrifice for granted. Ini continued, but this time trying to pull herself together. But remember, the cane in which was used to flog the first wife will surely be at a corner waiting to be used on the second wife. And my God will judge you both, she said amidst tears before running out of the compound. Tunde, who had been standing shocked all this while with the way his new girlfriend handled everything, everything, tried to explain and apologize to her, but she shunned him. Ini ran home and cried her eyes out. But after crying for days, she told herself it was okay and decided to count her loss and move on. She needed to find a way to raise back her father's money in order to see if he would forgive her. She started going back to her shop again, with Dara and Larry constantly trying to make her feel better, though she refused to see Larry on any other notes other than just a regular customer, even though she knew he wanted more. Days passed and life seemed to be going back to normal again, but she could not forget such a betrayal so easily. Sometimes she would sit and cry to ease her pains. One day, while they were cooking in the shop, Dara quickly chipped in a talk about Larry. Ini, don't you think it's long enough for you to consider Larry? Dara said with a cunning smile. I mean, that guy is a perfect definition of a gentleman, and you and I know how much he likes you. Ini brushed her and her topic away and told her she was not ready for anything man at the moment, not after what she went through. Larry, on his own part, continued gently with his intentions. He hoped and believed that someday she would accept him. He visited her shop whenever he could, not forgetting to bring her gifts. She always rejected them except for rare occasions when Dara is around, and she will forcefully make her accept them. At first, Ini pushed Larry away severally, still lost in her grief. I can't think about that right now. My heart is broken, she would reply, her voice trembling. But Larry's kindness began to warm her heart, and as days passed, she started to see him in a new light. Slowly, Ini began to open up to the idea of new relationship. After much hesitation, she agreed to go out with Larry. They spent time together, sharing stories and laughter, and he made her feel valued and appreciated in ways that Tunde never did. With newfound courage, Ini and Larry decided to approach Papa Toby to seek for his forgiveness. Hand in hand, they entered his home, Ini's heart racing. She was determined to make things. She had missed her father, who had sacrificed so much for her. Papa, she began, tears in her eyes. I'm so sorry for what I did. I have learned the hardest lesson. Please forgive me. Her father saw the sincerity in her eyes and the strength in her voice. He could see the pain she had endured and the growth she had experienced. After much pleading from both Ini and Larry, he finally forgave her, welcoming her back into the family with open arms. Family is everything, Ini, he said, embracing her tightly. I never stopped loving you. I just needed you to understand the consequences of your actions. Ini felt a wave of relief wash over her as she hugged her father, grateful for his forgiveness. Meanwhile, Tunde's relationship with Chika ended up almost immediately. She soon realized that Tunde had only been with her for her money. When she found out he actually had a wife somewhere and was only using her to get money and a paper to another country, she ended things with Tunde and threw him out back on the street where he rightfully belonged. Alone and desperate, Tunde found himself in a miserable state, regretting the choices he had made, but it was too late. With no one to turn to, he tried to contact Ini again, seeking forgiveness and hoping to reconcile. I made a mistake, Ini, he pleaded in a desperate voice. I didn't mean to hurt you, but it was too late. Ini had moved on, her heart now in the hands of Larry, who had proven to be the man she truly deserved. Ini was happy once again, and the highlight of everything that has happened so far was her being able to reconcile with her father. Gradually, her small roadside food shop blossomed into a full-fledged restaurant thanks to Larry's support and encouragement. They worked together, serving delicious meals to their loyal customers and building a life filled with love, respect, and shared dreams. One sunny afternoon, Larry proposed to Ini, his eyes filled with love. Will you be my wife, Ini? I promise to support your dreams and cherish you always. With tears of joy in her eyes, Ini accepted the proposal, knowing that true love was worth waiting for. The wedding was a celebration of love, family, and forgiveness. Ini wore a beautiful gown, radiant with happiness, as she walked down the aisle, her father beaming living with pride.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like and leave a comment letting us know what you think about the story. Kindly subscribe if you are yet to do so. Up until next time, bye for now. Mwah.